Hey guys, what's going on? I want to give you a quick crash course in Evernote, which is an awesome tool that I've been using for about 8 years now, and it really helps me keep everything organized, and I think it can help you too. So I'm going to run through as fast as I can some of the main things so you can get going and start getting organized in your own life. So Evernote is a note-taking app that is cross-platform. You can get on Mac, Windows, your phone, whether it's iOS, Android, and there's a web interface as well. I'm primarily using the Mac desktop version, but they're all similar behavior. It really helps you stay organized. I've gone completely paperless. I scan everything and I put into Evernote. I don't keep any paper. Keeps everything searchable, and it's just been really awesome. So there are a few accounts, and I'm not a salesperson for Evernote, but I just wanted to differentiate between two main things between the free account and the non-free accounts. The free one is awesome for most people. You have 60 megabytes that you can upload per month, and every month that quota resets and you can upload another 60 megabytes, and there's no total limit on how much you can keep in your Evernote account. The premium and business plans up that quota. I believe the premium plan is about 1 gig per month. The main difference besides the size is going to be the fact that in the premium and the business plans, when you upload PDFs and Word documents, that text within those documents becomes searchable, which is really handy. If you can do without that, then the free plan is really great. So I just want to clear that up front, and we're just going to jump right in, and I'm going to start with creating a note, which is one of the most basic things you can do. So once you're in Evernote, whatever interface you're in, they look pretty similar. I just hit new note over here, and this box pops up and it gives me a blank screen essentially, and right up here is going to be the title. So I'm going to name it, let's see, today's date is 7th. I'm going to say, and this is just my choice to put the date in the title. It also, the note itself keeps the created date and the updated date on its own without you having to do anything. And then we just click down here, and now we're in the body of the note, and you can see that my toolbar changed to a typical word processing toolbar where you have all the common things that you're used to. We got some bullets. You can do bullets. If you need numbers, you can do that, and it's got checkboxes, which is handy if you're going to make to-do lists and things like that. And then these are live, and you can just come in and click them to check on, check off, and just clear that out. And then we've got typical alignment. This is a handy tool right here where we've got the table size, and we can choose if we want to put almost like a spreadsheet type thing within our note, and we want to do down here you can see 5 by 3. I'm just that's just following my mouse around. I'm going to do a 5 by 3 table. I'm going to click that. It's going to insert that right into the table. So this is super handy if you want to just throw a small spreadsheet in, and you can type your data into the cells like that. It's not going to do calculations. It's really just for text. And then the last couple things I want to point out is there's a tiny little microphone icon. You can click that. I'm not going to do it now because I'm already recording myself, but you can click that and record some audio, and it'll automatically insert the audio into the note. Same thing with this. This will enable your camera on whatever device you're on. You can take a quick picture and it'll put that into the note. This is for attachments, and you can just hit that and put any file on your computer or your phone right into the note, and it makes a copy of the file into the Evernote database. So if, for instance, you wanted to put a file into Evernote and then delete it off your normal device, you'll still have it in Evernote as a file, and you can download it back out. And then it's a Google Drive integration if you wanted to add files from Google Drive. So we're going to keep this test note, and I want to point out a couple other things. Up here is the notebook that we're in, and I have a few notebooks set up on my computer, and we're going to talk about notebooks in a little bit. And you can just choose the notebook, and then this is where we can add our tags, and we're going to talk about tags as well. The one last thing I wanted to mention, or two last things rather, is you can actually encrypt text within an Evernote note, and it's one-sided encryption, so the team at Evernote can't even decrypt your data. Only you with the password can do it on your end. So that's pretty cool. If you wanted to keep something safe, then I'm going to hit Command-Shift-X, that's the shortcut here, and it's going to ask me, what do I want to put in for a password? I'm just going to make it password. And once I type that in, I already use passwords, but this is telling me that I'm using a different password than I normally use. I'm going to use a new passphrase, even though it's not recommended. When I hit OK, I get this box with dots, and that data is encrypted. And if I want to decrypt that data, I double click it and it shows up. If I close Evernote and come back in and I double click that data, it's going to show up as, it's going to ask me for the password. So that's cool. And if I want to attach a file, I'm going to go to my Finder and I'm going to find, I'm going to hit Command C, which is going to copy that file, or I can drag it into the note and I'm going to Command V, which is paste that file. And here it is. This is a PDF. It's a camera manual. And once it's in Evernote, this is how it shows up as a file. And I can hit this eyeball and it's going to pull the file up. And you can look at it. And I can hit this guy right here and this is going to download that file back to my computer if I want to do that. So you can also annotate the file with a premium version. I've never used this. It doesn't seem to be very useful. And now this won't go away. There we go. Now, like I mentioned, I have the premium version, so I'm able to search within a PDF. So I'm gonna just find a word in here that's probably unique, probably bracketing. If I close out of that note and I come into search and I type bracketing, it pulls up that note. Now you'll notice bracketing is not in my note text, it's in the PDF. So now it tells me here's the note and it's in this PDF. If you notice when I do the search, it highlights the PDF, telling me that that search term is in that PDF. And that's an extremely powerful thing when you start to collect thousands of notes and you want to search in the attachments. That's super handy. Okay, that's about all for the notes themselves. And the next layer up is notebooks. And you can have, if you click on notebooks over here, these are the ones that I currently have. So I've got one for one of my businesses, I have one for my personal stuff, I have another business that I had, and in here this says it's a shared notebook and you can see that I'm sharing it with one other person. Shared notebooks are really powerful as well because I can have another Evernote user and I can offer them to share the notebook with me, and any notes that I put in that notebook are going to show up on there and they're going to sync to their account, and they can also edit and modify the notes as well. This is extremely useful for teams and or just anybody you want to share information with very easily. Notebooks are, initially when I first started using Evernote, I was splitting things into a lot of notebooks, and then I realized that that's not the organizational structure that I want to use. At this point, I already have these notebooks made up, but if I were to go back and do it again, I would probably have one notebook for all my local stuff and then one shared notebook for the stuff that I share with somebody else, or as many shared notebooks as I need, because I'm not actually using notebooks themselves to keep my data organized. Some people might differ in the way they use it, but I'm going to show you the way I do it. That's worked really well for me, and I've tweaked this system over the years. What I generally use is tags. So that's the other organizational tool. I'm going to click on tags here, and what we're going to do is we're going to make some new tags. So I'm going to make a high-level tag called demo. I'm going to make another tag called demo sub tag, and I'm going to make one more just for fun, demo sub tag 2. And I'm going to take demo and I'm going to put it, oh, I've got to sync before I can do that. So this is the synchronization. There it is. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to nest it in there, I'm going to take this one, I'm going to nest it in there. So now I've got a tag structure where I have a top level tag and then I have two sub level tags. These show up if you drop your tags down. Here's the demo that I just made, and here's the sub tags. Now right now you can see that there's zeros next to these, telling me there's no notes with this tag in it. And we're going to go back to the note that we just made. I'm going to come right in here. Here's our demo note. This is the one we did earlier. And I'm going to add one of these tags. And I can either hit the tag button. Nope, I can't hit the tag button. I'm going to type the tag in. So I'm going to say demo sub tag without the number. I'm going to hit enter. So that tag is assigned, and you can see that this just went up to 1. Now there's one tag. I'm sorry, there's one note in that tag. If I want to search by tags and I just hit that, it's going to show me, hey, there's your note that you've got for demo sub tag 1. And I hit this tag, there's no notes in there. So right off the bat, this is an easy way if you wanted to do whatever you wanted to categorize things by, and you add the tags, you can then just click on it and see all the ones that are contained in that tag. And that gets even more powerful if you have things like, say you wanted to put recipes, and you had a tag that was just for recipes. Then you had another tag that was for dinner, breakfast, or lunch. And you had another tag that was vegetarian and meat. Now you could tag these things with multiple tags. So if I said demo sub tag 2, I now have this note with 2 tags on it. And if I click demo sub tag 2, there's my note. If I click that, there's my note. There's only one copy of the note. This is just filtering the data. So if I want to do what I was talking about, where I could have, I want to see all my dishes that are vegetarian. You hit your vegetarian tag, and there they all are. But then maybe you want to see, like, I want to see all my notes that are breakfast vegetarian dishes. So then you can just you search up here. I'll show you that. You do add search options, tag, and then you choose the tag. I've got a million tags, so try to ignore that. But if I do add demo sub tag, and then I do demo sub tag 2, and I add that, this search query is going to show me all the notes that include both of those tags. So again, for our example, if it was breakfast and vegetarian, now it's going to pull up all my vegetarian breakfast notes. So you can start to see that when you combine the tags together, you have the ability to really hone in very specifically on certain documents. So that's a really basic demo of tags. Nesting helps if you want to have like a top level thing. Like, again, this would be recipes, and then down here I'd put all those subtags we talked about, like breakfast, lunch, dinner. You could have ratings. You could do 1 through 5 stars, and you could attach, I know this is a 4-star recipe. I made it. It was really good. I'm going to give it 4 stars. Then you can start to even sort through things like that. So tags, I would recommend using those for your organization over notebooks. Really, if you tag things appropriately, it doesn't matter if they're all in the same notebook. And then the last kind of category I want to talk about is search, which is really where Evernote shines and really makes your life a lot easier. So you'll notice, you might have noticed before that I named this tag this note pretty specifically, where I said the date, dot the month, dot the day, space, dash, space, and then the title of my note. That was on purpose because, for instance, if I have an electric bill and I name this National Grid, which is the electric company in my area, and then I said, this is for property, I'm just gonna make up a street, Smith Street. Say I have a property on Smith Street. National Grid bill for Smith Street. Now I can come in here and I can say, I want to see all my notes that have the word national in the title. So I do that, and here's all my National Grid bills. Now these are for all different properties, all different years, whatever they might be. So maybe I want to say, well, all right, I want to see all the ones in Smith Street, from all the ones that say Smith and National, because I title them a certain way. And if you're disciplined with your titling, then you can make these searches. Now I can say, I want all the National Grid electric bills for the Smith Street property. I should back up a little bit. When you search, you can search for just terms. So I could say whatever I want to. I can say D800. That's the camera manual we put in, and there's our top note with it. And then I've got other notes there with the word D800 because that's the camera that I have. But that's going to pull up this note, and it's telling me here's your PDF with D800 in it, and it's also mentioned 1,000 times inside that PDF. So that's a regular search. And then you saw me doing in title with the word national, and then in title again with Smith. In title tells your search to say, give me all the notes that have whatever words you follow this with. And you can find out, there's more of these if you head over to the Evernote page. They're advanced syntax searches. This is how you really get powerful searches. So in title is the top one. That's my most commonly used one. You can search within certain notebooks, and you can see here you can search by tag. You can also search for notes without a certain tag, This is handy because you can do dash tag with an asterisk, and it sends you all your notes back that don't have tags. So if you wanted to find out what you maybe didn't tag, you forgot to tag, you can pull them all up that way. Created, updated. If it has a to-do list, anything with encryption. So these are all handy. Again, in title is the one I use all the time. So this is an abbreviated kind of introduction, but if you sit back and think a little while about how you might want to organize your data and think about these different ways that you can search, you can probably come up with a nice system that would really work well for whatever it is that you're trying to organize. I would highly recommend that you're really thoughtful about your organizational structure before you get too deep into it. So when you get Evernote and you turn it on and you start to bring documents and make notes, before you go crazy and you have too many notes in there, I would recommend that you think about how you want it to all be organized. The main thing you want to think about is, how do I want to be able to search for this information? What kinds of searches am I going to want to be able to do, and how do I want to tease this information out? Back to the recipe example, you're going to want to think about, like, what are the different categories I'm going to want to have, and how am I going to want to find these things? Is it because do I want to be able to find if a dish is a vegetarian dish or not? Do I care about that? If so, then you're going to want to be tagging those things as you create those notes. It's a lot easier to do that on the front end than it is to make 1,000 notes and then go back and try to tag them all. And then once you do create a system, be really disciplined with sticking with it. If you stay organized like that, then you'll never have trouble finding anything. This is such an awesome thing for me, because if I ever have somebody that says, I need to see your mortgage statement from 2017 in March, I can find that in literally 4 seconds. And if I had a bunch of paper laying around, it'd be a huge pain to go find a document like that. But I've got everything searchable in all these different ways that I just showed you. So that's Evernote, and as you can see, I really enjoy it, and I have 4,549 notes currently in my Evernote account. And the nice thing about Evernote too is that it doesn't slow down when you add tons of notes to it. It just keeps performing the same as it does when it has one note, because it's a really well-made, mature product. So highly recommended. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Be happy to answer them. And I hope that you find Evernote as useful as I do, and you get all that stuff out of your brain and down into onto your computer, and get it searchable, and use your brain to think about more important stuff. All right, have a good day, guys.